How's it going, everybody? This is RBT coming at you with my college football week 10 prediction video. And I know that I said this in my last week's video, but isn't this week going by so fast? I mean, it's already double-digit weeks, week 10 of the college football season, and there's only 3 or 4 weeks left of the regular season. Then it's on to the championship games and bowl games. So let's get right into this. Got a crap load of stuff to do, and this is always the first thing I do when I get home. It takes me about 20 minutes, but let's get into it. Virginia Tech at Miami. This would be a tough game for both teams, but I think it's going to be a close, high-scoring game, but I'm going to go Virginia Tech in this game. Logan Thomas will shred through that Miami secondary. That Miami defense is quite vulnerable. I think Miami puts up some points. They have a potent offense, but it'll be a high-scoring game, I think, in the 30s for both teams, but I think Virginia Tech pulls out a very close victory. I'll go Virginia Tech 34-31 over Miami in front of about 25 fans. Friday night, this is a pretty good game. Washington at Cal. Washington coming off a big upset over number 7 Oregon State. Cal coming off a loss. I'm going to go Washington in this game. I think Cal makes it close. Cal always plays teams close at home, but I think Keith Price is too much to overcome for that Cal defense. Zach Maynard is going to get put on the ground about 20 times in this game like he usually does. And I'm going to go Washington. I'm going to go Washington 37, Cal 27. Saturday, Missouri at Florida. Florida's going to be hungry for a victory coming off that upset loss against Georgia last week. I think Missouri makes it close. I really do. But it's going to be tough playing in the Swamp. It's tough whoever you are playing at the Swamp, especially with a top 10 Florida team. But I think Missouri makes it closer than the experts think. But I'm going to go Florida 27, Missouri 17. That defense is just way too much for that Missouri offense to overcome. Temple at Louisville. I predict Louisville to remain undefeated. And after seeing Rutgers perform like they did last week, I think Louisville will end the season undefeated. If that's going to be in the national championship, that's yet to be determined. It depends how the teams ahead of them do. They're sitting at number 10 in the country right now. Temple coming off a bad loss. But I'm going to go Louisville. Louisville 30, Temple 14. Louisville's been winning all of their games very, very close. But, I mean, a win's a win. That's all that matters. So still undefeated. And I think Temple, though, they'll get a breather, and they'll win 30-14. Oklahoma at Iowa State. Oh goodness, I'm gonna go the upset here. Oklahoma, as we all know, they struggle when they play away from Norman at times, and here we go, a perfect environment, and as Iowa, it's a very, very tough place to play. I think Oklahoma could be looking over Iowa State. Iowa State's a pretty dang good football team, and Oklahoma's going to be down after that loss. They're out of the race for the national championship now. They're probably not going to win I don't know. They might win the Big 12. It depends how Kansas State does, but if Kansas State remains undefeated, Oklahoma is probably not going to make a BCS bowl, and so they're going to be down. Iowa State's looking for the upset, and I think they pull the upset. Go Iowa State 27, Oklahoma 24. Last-second field goal upsets Oklahoma. And sorry Hambone. I know you watch all my prediction videos, but I really do think Iowa State gets a victory. But we'll see. Might prove me wrong, but that's going to go with my upset of the week there. Texas A&M at number 15, Mississippi State. Mississippi State definitely was exposed last week against Alabama. I think they really took advantage of that tough schedule that they had. They got absolutely blown out in their first real tough opponent. Playing at Bryant-Denny Stadium, lost 38-7. Texas A&M has probably the best offense in the SEC, and I don't say that lightly. They can score like that, but when they get in trouble is when they play good defenses that cause turnovers, and that's why they lost to Florida. That's why they lost to LSU. If they can limit turnovers, they can be a very dangerous team that can possibly beat an LSU, possibly beat a Florida. But like I said, they turn the ball over, and that's what got them the loss in those games. And I think they do beat Mississippi State. I think Texas A&M is a legitimate team, and I'm gonna go Texas A&M big. Well, not too big. I'm gonna go about 2 touchdowns. I'm gonna go Texas A&M 44, Mississippi State 30. Vandy at Kentucky. Kentucky remains unbeaten, or winless in the SEC. Unbeaten, good God. going to remain winless in SEC play, and Vanderbilt's going to roll in this game. Should have no problem with Kentucky. Joker Phillips going to be gone after this year if he's not gone after this game. Or if he's not gone right now, he might be getting fired as we speak. But I'm going to go Vanderbilt 31, Kentucky 17. Michigan at Minnesota. Came out today that Denard Robinson's expected to be okay in this game. I think Minnesota plays them tough playing at home. Pretty good team there in Minnesota. They had a big victory against Purdue last week, who I expected to be one of the better teams in that division of the Big Ten. They definitely proved me wrong. But Minnesota's playing some pretty good football. One win away from being bowl eligible. They get the win today, or Saturday. They'll be bowl eligible for the first time in years. I think the last time they were bowl eligible was in 2008 against Kansas in the Insight Bowl, something like that. I'm probably wrong there, but they're hungry for a bowl game in Minnesota, but I don't think they get it this week against Michigan. Michigan too much for that Minnesota defense. I'm gonna go Michigan 38, Minnesota 24. Air Force and Army games this week, but Army's just not near on par with Air Force. Air Force should win this game by probably 3 touchdowns. I'm gonna go Air Force 41, Army 14. Syracuse at Cincinnati. Syracuse is playing some pretty good football this year. They've been playing teams close. Cincinnati came this close to upsetting Louisville. Had a big win had a big lead in the fourth quarter, and Louisville overcame that. But I mean, coming off 2 straight wins, the Syracuse are 4-4, 3-1 in Big East play, coming off an upset win over South Florida. I don't really know if you call it an upset win, but they're scoring some points this year. But either way, I'm going to go Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a pretty good ball club. They probably could be undefeated right now, but they lost. Who they lose to? Lost to Toledo, which is really unacceptable even if you're a Big East team. But either way, at Nippert Stadium, Cincinnati gets the win. I'm going to go 37-34 Cincinnati. Tulsa at Arkansas. This could be a potential upset, and it's going to be a very, very close game. Tulsa's a pretty good ball club. I know they're getting votes week in, week out in the BCS polls. Only loss in the season right now is against Iowa State week 1. They played them pretty tough, only lost by 15 points. But they've had no trouble ever since, and I think they're going to play Arkansas very, very close, but I don't think Arkansas is going to lose to 2 non-BCS teams in a season. I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to go Arkansas, really high scoring game. Both teams score over 40 points. I'm going to go Arkansas 43, Tulsa 40. New Mexico State at Auburn. The only reason I'm predicting this game is because I believe Auburn wins this game by a field goal. New Mexico State is a terrible team, but Auburn is probably the worst they've been in the last few decades. I mean, New Mexico State's 1-7 with their only win over Sacramento State. Loss of Iowa, UTEP, New Mexico, Texas San Antonio, Idaho, Utah State, Louisiana Tech. They are very, very, very bad, and they're going to be hungry. They're going to want to upset Auburn. I mean, this will be their second win of the season. Whoever wins this game is going to have their second win of the season. I mean, it's going to be a very close game, I believe. But I think the SEC, Auburn does have some SEC players in their team. They still have more talent than New Mexico State. New Mexico State is going to be more motivated in this game, which I think makes it really close. But I'm going to go Auburn 27, New Mexico State 24. Georgia Tech at Maryland. Georgia Tech's going to take advantage of Maryland down at their 4th-string quarterback, or 5th string. Who is it? 4th or 5th string. Doesn't matter. I think they're thinking about either converting a linebacker or a corner to quarterback, and Georgia Tech's going to take advantage of that. Coming off a big loss last week against BYU, got blown out 41-17. But either way, like I said, Georgia Tech's going to take advantage of that, and they're going to win 24-14 over Maryland. Virginia at North Carolina State. North Carolina State's hungry for a win. It's been a while. They're coming off a heartbreaking loss to rival North Carolina. North Carolina State's a good team. They just had some bad breaks this year. They can score some points. Virginia's kind of down this year. Well, really down this year. I think they're about 3. How many wins they got? 3, 2, 3. Could be wrong. They're 2-6. They have not got a win in ACC play. It's going to make it close. But I'm going to go North Carolina State playing at home. I'm going to go 30-20 North Carolina State. Stanford at Colorado. Good God. Stephon Taylor should have over 5 million yards rushing this game. Colorado's terrible. They're not just terrible in Pac-12 play. They're terrible just overall. They're one of the worst teams in the country, not just the Pac-12. They'd be I don't even know if they'd be a 500 team if they're playing in a team like the WAC. They're just that bad. Don't know why, but they're that bad. Stanford should win this game. I'm going to go 50-14 over Colorado. TCU at West Virginia. battle of the two new additions to the Big 12, playing at West Virginia. So it's going to be a tough environment for TCU and their freshman quarterback Trevane Boykin, not sure, but he's been playing quite well. He's gave them opportunities to win. They had a big win against or big loss last week against Oklahoma State. They're now 2-3 Big 12 play. So both teams, West Virginia and TCU, kind of struggling in Big 12 play this year. But that was kind of expected. But I'm gonna go TCU in this game. West Virginia's defense just terrible, absolutely terrible. It's gonna be a really high scoring game. I think this game might even go into overtime. Probably gonna be one of the closest games of the week. Be a very fun game to watch if you like points. But I'm gonna go TCU 54, West Virginia 51. Washington State at Utah. Washington State will give Utah all they can handle, but Mike Leach's team isn't there just quite yet. They played tough last week, but they're not enough for a team like Utah. And I'm gonna go Utah 34, Washington State 21. I'm sitting there doing my hand motions. If you haven't noticed, sorry, I just kind of burped. If you haven't noticed, I've been picking the last few weeks games to be really close. I don't know why, but I just have. So, and here's another close one. I'm gonna go Pitt at Notre Dame, number 3 Notre Dame. Moving on up in the poll, but Notre Dame, like I think I explained this in my recap video. Notre Dame has been the underdog all year. People are doubting them week in and week out, and I think with the win over Oklahoma, that's gone. Teams are now buying to the Notre Dame hype. They have a stretch right here of 3 or 4 in a row games where people will probably predict them to win, telling them how much better than their opponent they are, and they don't have that chip on their shoulder anymore. I mean, it's going to be a different look into the game for the Notre Dame players, not going as an underdog. So I think that does make them struggle in the next 3 games, possibly. I think they have a bigger chance of losing to either Pitt, Wake Forest, and who's the other team? Boston College. I think they have a better chance of losing to one of those teams than they do to USC, honestly. But Pittsburgh's they're not that great of a team this year. But they blew out Temple last week. But this is the same team that lost to Youngstown State by 2 touchdowns week 1 and lost to Cincinnati by over 30, 40 points, I believe. So Notre Dame's defense will get the W in this game. Low scoring game. I'm gonna go. Well, not necessarily low scoring, but I'm gonna go 21-14 Notre Dame. Ray Graham's a great running back for Pittsburgh, but he alone can't beat that Notre Dame defense. I think he gets 2 rushing touchdowns. Yes, 2 rushing touchdowns on the team that allowed their first rushing touchdown last week. And that was to Blake Bell, who has who knows how many rushing touchdowns this year out of the red zone. But like I said, Notre Dame 21, Pittsburgh 14. Ole Miss at Georgia. Oh, goodness. Do I want to go with the upset here? Yes, I'm going with the upset here. Ole Miss, great team. They're not a great team. They've definitely been a surprising team. A team last year that was like 2-10, I believe, and now they're sitting pretty in the SEC. I think they're 3rd in the SEC West, and I think they're the 3rd best team in the SEC West. I think they're better than Mississippi State, but we'll all see that in the Egg Bowl last week of the season. Coming off 2 wins, SEC play. They're coming off of 4 really tough games that they've played tough in all of them. I mean, they didn't beat Alabama. They played Alabama pretty tough. It's been Alabama's toughest game of the season so far. They lost to Texas A&M, who's been blowing through opponents by only 3 points. They had to have a comeback, and Texas A&M got kind of lucky, but they got the W in that game. They beat Auburn by 21 points, and they just coming off a last-second field goal from an improved Arkansas team. Arkansas is not as bad as they were early on in the season. They've gotten better, and they have momentum. I mean, they're 2-2 in the SEC right now. They have momentum. Georgia, I think, definitely took advantage of costly turnovers for Florida last week. I don't think Georgia's a better team than Florida. It's so tough to say though, because I mean they matched up and Georgia won, so I take that statement back. But they're not as good, I don't think, as a number 6 ranking gives them. I think they're more of a top 15 type team. So in between the hedges, I believe Ole Miss gets the upset. I think that's 2 upsets I predicted this week. I'm gonna go Ole Miss 24, Georgia 20. In Athens. Pulls the upset, and don't hate me if you're a Georgia fan watching this. Texas at Texas Tech. Texas coming off a near disaster against Kansas. If they had lost to Kansas, Mac Brown would be looking for a job right now. No excuse for Texas to have to come back with a minute left, avoiding dropped interception, which would have sealed the deal for Kansas, and having to convert on the 4th and 18, eventually leading to a touchdown with 12 seconds left to beat Kansas, who's been absolutely atrocious ever since Mark Mangino left. And Texas Tech is coming off a big whopping themselves. They lost to Kansas State by 30-plus points. Ow! God, I just scratched myself, man. I just drew blood. But Seth Agee, a great quarterback. Texas defense definitely not what they were hyped up to be this year. That's a big part of injuries to the middle of that front seven. But either way, potent offense for Texas Tech playing at home in Lubbock. Definitely going to have a crowd in this game with arch rival Texas. But I'm going to go Texas Tech by a touchdown. I'm going to go 40 to 33 Texas Tech. Nebraska at Michigan State. I'm going to go Nebraska in this game. God, that hurt so bad. I'm going to go Nebraska in this game over Michigan State. Michigan State can make it really close. Le'Veon Bell's the real deal at running back. He can win you a game single-handedly. But Nebraska's got more than a running back. They have more than Rex Burkhead. They have Taylor Martinez, Kenny Bell, and they have a pretty potent offense, a pretty good defense under Bo Pelini. It's going to be tough playing in Lansing, but I'm going to go Nebraska 30, Michigan State 21. Iowa at Indiana. Two of the most. Iowa's definitely an underachiever this year. I don't think I should say two of the worst teams, worst programs in the Big Ten. Because Iowa's not. They're just having a down year this year. Indiana's hasn't been relevant at all in the conference in the last 5, 6, 7 years. But they are coming off of their first Big Ten win in God knows how many years over Illinois. But Illinois is terrible this year under Tim Beckham. But I'm going to go Iowa in a Big Ten style game. That's what Iowa plays. That's Iowa football. They win games 9-6. I'm going to go Iowa 13, Indiana 10. Indiana's improving, but give them a few more years before they'll be relevant at all. Boston College at Wake Forest. I love these two programs. I always vote for these two programs. I like when these two programs are relevant. I loved it when Boston College in 07 was ranked number 2 in the country. Wake Forest was the year before that won the ACC. I think aside from the Alabama being the top team in football over the past 4 years or so, I think my favorite year in college football was 2007 when you had teams like South Florida at number 2. Boston College at one point was number 2. I love it when teams like that are relevant. People respect them, and I just love those type of surprises. I think that's when college football is the best, and I think Wake Forest really has been that relevant like Boston College was that year. But they're still a dangerous team. They can suck one Saturday, but the next Saturday they can beat you. They beat teams like North Carolina, and then they struggle against teams like Army. But I think Tanner Price, with his arm, Michael Caponero, reminds me exactly of Wes Welker. A great wide receiver. He'll be back next year. I think Wake Forest is a year away from being a great team at Boston College. They don't know what's gotten to Boston College, but their defense, which is traditionally the better part of their team, has been sad. Their offense has actually been better than their defense this year. Definitely outperformed them. But they are coming off their first ACC win of the year last week against Maryland, but they took advantage of Maryland having their 4-string quarterback, like I mentioned before. But I go Wake Forest 21-20 in this game. Tanner Price leads the Demon Deacons down the field with 2 minutes left to score a touchdown and an extra point to win. Illinois at Ohio State. This game will get ugly. Illinois easily the worst defense in the Big Ten, about to the NFL. But Ohio State will roll in this game. They'll win this game by 30-plus points. I'll go Ohio State 44, Illinois 10. Kansas at Baylor. Like I mentioned before, Kansas just a bad team, bad overall. That was another year. 2007 was the year Kansas was at one point number 2 in the country. If they would have beat Missouri, they would have gone maybe to the national championship. I'm not sure. But Baylor, they still have a potent offense. Nick Florence definitely is an RG3, but he's still a really good quarterback. I'll go Baylor by 20 points. I'll go Baylor 40, Kansas 21. Penn State at Purdue. I mentioned in this video that Purdue's definitely underperformed from my expectations for them this year. But Penn State, they're overperformed my expectations this year. I thought Penn State, after the first few weeks, was going to get like 2 wins this year. And they've won like 5 straight, aside from that Ohio State loss. I think it is going to be kind of tough for them playing at Purdue. But Penn State, they have a game manager who knows how to distribute the football without turning it over, and that's the main reason Penn State's been successful this year. Also, they have a quite good defense as well, which they've rode a few times this season. But I think Penn State gets a 3-point victory over Purdue. I'm going to say Penn State 24, Purdue 21. Any more games? Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 left, actually. I'm going to throw this out here. I really hope Boise State ends up losing another game. I'd love to see a team, a non-BCS team, make it this year to a BCS bowl, but you shouldn't be able to do that with a loss. Boise State, they got beat by Michigan State week 1. They shouldn't be ranked number 19 and moving on up in the full week in, week out. They shouldn't have a chance at a BCS bowl. If you're a non-BCS team, you should have to be undefeated to go to the BCS bowl, a BCS bowl. And I just don't want to see Boise State, just because of that brand name, make it to a BCS bowl. But done with that. Ooh. Oregon at USC. I would love, not trying to show any hate here, but I would love to see Oregon lose this game and knock them out of the national championship contention. Because I know this is stupid and it's not going to happen, but I'd love to see, like I already told you, I loved the year like 2007 when a team was ranked up number 2, like Boston College, Kansas, South Florida. And the more teams that lose that are undefeated, the higher up Louisville goes. And I would love to see a team like Louisville get a shot at the national championship, even though Alabama would absolutely destroy them. It would just be fun to watch. It'd be something cool, but it's not going to happen because Oregon has no chance of losing this game. USC they can have a potent offense. I mean, they have a great wide receiver. Marquise Lee broke the record, Pac-12 record for receiving yards. Had over 350 receiving yards in the game. That's unheard of. That's the 5th most ever in NCAA history. So they have a potent offense. It's going to be really tough. I think Oregon definitely their toughest game so far this year. But USC is nothing like they've been hyped up to be in preseason. They're not the number 1 team in the country. I don't think they should be a top 25 team, honestly. They struggle against teams they shouldn't struggle against. They lose to teams that they shouldn't lose against because they're USC and they get 5 stars year in and year out. I read a USC poster, message board poster. He said that he'd love Lane Kiffin to be fired because he'd rather, but it's not going to happen because most fans of USC would rather see recruiting championships compared to national championships. They have a coach that can recruit, but they don't have a coach that can coach, if that makes any sense. So they probably have more talent overall than Oregon, but Oregon's going to, I think, beat them by more than 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's the big rivalry game. It's going to be tough. USC is going to be coming ready to play, try to spoil Oregon's chances. But either way, I'm going to go Oregon 45, USC 30. Clemson should have no problem with Duke. I don't even know why I said this, but Clemson, I'll go 38, Duke 17. Even though, don't get me wrong, Duke has been quite good this year. Definitely a surprise. They're bowl eligible for the first time in God knows how long. They did get kind of swamped by Florida State last week, but that was expected. But they're 6 wins. I mean, nobody really predicted Duke to have 6 wins this year, so props to them. But they don't have a chance against Clemson. Connecticut at South Florida. South Florida definitely been a disappointment for me this year. I have a buddy that plays for South Florida. No, I've probably said this in every single video, but they're winless in the Big East, and I think that remains this year. Lyle McCombs will have a game against them. He'll run the ball 30, 40 times, and he'll get over 100 yards, and they'll win. Low scoring game, I think. I'll go Connecticut 17, South Florida 13. 3 or 4 more games to go. Alabama at LSU. Please don't let this be 20 minutes already. Oh, wow, 25 minutes. Sorry about that. Alabama at LSU. Going to make my TTC video here in a second, but I'll go ahead and give you a score. If you want to actually watch my Hate Week video, I'm going to go Alabama 30. Alabama 30. This is hard. Alabama 27. LSU 7. Oklahoma State at number 2, Kansas. Oklahoma State will give Kansas State all they wanted, but Kansas State playing at home is going to get revenge for last year's game that came down to the wire. Colin Klein's a legitimate team, and well, that is a good statement. Colin Klein is a legitimate team because he is Kansas State. But I think this is the last real test Kansas State has. After this game, they play TCU. Should be an easy win. Baylor, easy win. Texas, they should swamp by 20 points. So this is the last chance for a team to really beat Kansas State, in my opinion. And I think they're going to make it a touchdown game, but I'm going to go Kansas State 41, Oklahoma State 34. Arizona State at Oregon State. The game will be... That sucks that Oregon State lost. They were one of those teams that I would love to see beat Oregon and go up to and have a chance to play for the national championship, but that's not going to happen because they lost to Washington because their quarterback threw a bunch of picks. But Arizona State, I think, they'll lose this game by a field goal, but they'll make it close. Todd Graham's team can be potent on offense, but sometimes they can come out flat. But I'll go Oregon State 24, Arizona State 21. Last game, Arizona at UCLA. Arizona coming off a huge upset win against USC. Definitely a surprise. Nobody saw that coming. Well, the guys on game day did, but nobody saw on the internet really had that coming. UCLA's tough when they play at home. But Matt Scott, man, he's a great quarterback. He's definitely saved Rich Rod's first season. Well, not necessarily saved it, but he's made it successful. Better than a lot of people thought. UCLA does have a potent offense. They're now 6-2 on the season. Only losses against Oregon State and Cal. Absolutely swamped by Cal. But I'm going to go Arizona. Very, 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 very close. High-scoring game. The game will be over 40 points for both teams. I'll go Arizona 43. UCLA 40. So I guess that's it, guys. So that's been my college football week 10 prediction video. If you have any objections to my picks, let me know in the comments below. But please don't be rude, because I don't like that. But let me know what you think of the games this week. Can't really think of anything else to say, so hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can never miss an upload. I'll see you guys later, and as always, roll Tide, and go Sox, and go Titans. I'll see you guys later.